Folks, I'm making an appeal for those folks who have stolen the Minister of Police expensive whiskeys. I think it's about time you take it back to the minister, okay? I know it happened 7 years ago, 2013, but you can see that the minister is still fuming. The minister still wants his whiskey. So what you do now to impress the minister, get a courier service, put in even more expensive whiskeys, find Bheki Cele's address, and send those expensive whiskeys to his address, okay? And then maybe some of us will then be able to drink alcohol, because you can see he's on a warpath against alcohol. 2013, this article by Mail and Guardian, it says, that's 28 April 2013, by the way, Mail and Guardian. Cele's whiskey stolen by thieves. The criminals tried to get into his Umhlanga home through a window on a Friday night but failed, the Sunday Tribute reported. They then broke into the garage and got into the cars. They drank a bottle of expensive whiskey found in one of the cars and stole valuables and 2 other bottles of whiskey valued at 1,000 each. Our community is under siege. There is no doubt about that. What pains me is that I could do something if I was still on the force. Cele was quoted as saying by the paper. He and his family were asleep in the house at the time. KwaZulu-Natal police spokesperson Colonel Vincent Mdunge confirmed the break-in. No arrests were made. 7 years ago, and Bheki Cele is still fuming. You saw him today. Today he says that that's during the clusters press conferences. Today he spoke about the whiskey again. There's a store, bottle store, of which they've broken into it. And what happened in that bottle store? They only took whiskeys and cognac. So Bheki Cele had to strictly comment on the whiskeys and the cognac that were stolen, and essentially spoke about how those people knew where to get the best whiskeys and stuff. And he says that they're going to investigate and find out as to where those whiskeys went to. You know, I'm not sure as to whether he found his whiskeys of 2013 when they were stolen. But someone generous out there, just ship your most expensive whiskeys to Bheki Cele and maybe the bottle stores will be open again. Because it looks like we're all paying a price. Speaking of alcohol, as a customer, I believe that the South African alcohol industry, really, they are deserving what's coming unto them, because they are lying down in a fetal position and sucking on their thumbs to the government. Whenever you see them on TV, they are pleading. It's funny. They are like this. You know, all this organization. I remember first there was this organization of, I think it's bar owners and taverns and so forth, that purport to represent about 40 to 50,000 bottle store owners and taverns. And then President Ramaphosa spoke to them aside when they said they wanted to go to court. And it was said that the budget from the Department of Tourism was diverted into that organization, and all of a sudden things were quiet. Remember that, folks? And then later on, another organization came in. This time it was South Africa's Liquor Brand Owners Association. They came in and they said, we're going to court and we want our business to be open. Okay? And then, as usual, whenever the president receives pressure, he relents to the pressure. And people should learn that. You know, you gotta come out swinging. Everybody should take a cue from the taxi organizations. See what's happening with the taxi organization? They said, oh no, okay, we're going to strike for a day. Okay, they did go for a strike for a day. The soldiers and the police yanked them off of the freeway. They're like, oh, okay, nobody's listening to us. All right, all right, all right. On some Denzel level. They're like, okay, part two, we're going to increase the taxi fares by quadruple percentage, you know, because we need funding. The government says that they're going to give us 2 billion. Out of that 2 billion in terms of funding, not only us as the taxi associations are going to share the 2 billion, but it's going to be your Bheki taxis, your online hailing industries, your Uber, your Bolt / Taxify and so forth. And this money is not going to be enough. And besides, the long distance taxi association and business been halted for so long, over 3 months, you know. And in this situation, you find that some taxi drivers and taxi owners have to pay installments, and they're just having a struggle with that. So they're like, okay, we're going to fill in full capacity in the taxi and try to get our money back. Okay, and the government capitulated. They relented to the pressure. Oh, not this alcohol brand owners. They're cowards. They're cowards. Let me read you to one of the stuff that they normally would say, you know. In fact, I don't even have to read it. I could say it from the top of my head. We have spoken with the government. The government says that the alcohol that we're selling, people stab each other and end up being in hospitals. There are car accidents and so forth. And so what we're doing right now, we're trying to come with mechanism where we're going to go on a nationwide message of driving it the message home to our people that they must drink responsibly, and now the government has told us that indeed it is true factually that the trauma units are now chock-a-block packed up because of the alcohol. And when we just want to see those stats first so that we can be able to see how we can meet the government halfway for us, you know, and we're left in the dark. The president, we just saw the president speaking at night without even consulting us. And guys, we buy alcohol. You're a multi-billion industry. Okay? Take your millions and go to court and challenge these decisions. You know, because if this just gonna continue and you lose in terms of business, it's on you. You deserve it. You suckers. You deserve it because you're leaving us on the ledge. We as drinkers, you're leaving us on the ledge. I'm not responsible for people stepping each other or driving recklessly, because I'm taking care of myself, you know. Matter of fact, gotta get my wine and chill with my partner and bond. The opposite of the violence that uh, the government is always talking about, and got hotlines going on. That is happening, of course, but statistically, I bet that the percentage of all these things that's happening will be lower. We don't want to be held ransom by people who are misbehaving, and then as a result, our rights then, you know, got tampered with. And then you have a toothless, weak alcohol brand owners who can't even dig into their pockets and go to court and challenge the government and throw this case out and reinstate the selling of alcohol. It's crazy. So today, folks, you're going to 6 months in jail or being fined, or both, by the magistrate judge if you're found not wearing a mask. So I don't know how that happened. If you're not wearing a mask, you go out and it will be hilarious. You lose your mask for whatever reason, or you forget it, and you get arrested for 6 months. Meanwhile, the government said that they're going to release 19,000 prisoners because the prisoners are vulnerable in the prisons because of the COVID-19. But they're going to arrest you for not wearing a mask to go to the same jail cell that is vulnerable for you to get COVID-19, and then they're releasing actual criminals who have committed crimes and now are in the streets. So I don't know how that's going to work out. And you had Minister of Police now says now they're going to be patrolling around the bottle stores because the bottle stores are being broken into now and alcohol is being stolen. Good luck. There's crime and everything that's happening. So now the police resources are going to be directed into driving around the bottle stores and all those liquor stores in order to protect them. Although they've failed to protect the schools, about 1,700 schools got banned and destroyed during lockdown. Just to think of the common sense of it all. During lockdown, thousands of schools had been vandalized, where over 70,000 soldiers are in the streets together with the police, but schools are being vandalized. So the president says that the curfew that has been enforced from 9 p.m. up until 4 a.m. It's in order to obviously stop car accidents. I don't know, if you're not selling alcohol and the clubs are not being opened, I just don't know where all those drunkies would be driving to. Which club would they be driving to where they're then going to have accidents? It's unbelievable. So unbelievable. So we'll see as to whether this all is going to be enforced. So now we're told that about 3,688 prisoners are infected with coronavirus. Okay, as much as that other number has been released, I don't know whether the Minister of Justice has released those prisoners, but he said that 19,000 are going to be released. So now we just find out that 3,688 confirmed cases at correctional services. So yeah, that's just what's been happening today. And one other thing that the African National Congress is using very well now, this is essentially election campaigns now, going to the local elections. They're having more and more time on TV to have a continuous, perpetual press conferences. So the president will come in, give a speech, and then other governmental departments, of which those little bits and pieces of speeches are related to, come on TV, have a 2-hour press conferences, hog the headlines, and all the other poor political parties, they opposition parties, nowhere to be found. So the EFF has now finally decided to crawl off their COVID-19 hibernation nest to go to schools now, to go to hospitals now. They even try to capitalize on the Black Lives Matter of the states, just to go out there and protest, even though they initially said that people should not go to church, people should stay in their houses. They went out there, they got a little bit of a political capital because they were shown on CNN and so forth. And now they're out. And I saw the EFF president, Julius Malema, saying that, hey, Mr. President, I'm not going to congratulate you for stopping selling alcohol. And now I'm telling you a new story. Take the kids out of the school. So a few days later now, the unions, the ANC Friends, which belongs to COSATU, the tripartite alliance, the SACP, the Friends now, they're having a little bit of a WWE fake wrestling disagreement about not wanting kids to go back to school, and then some fools will then obviously now join them, thinking that they're genuinely representing them, or else they're just having a little bit of wrestling to gain political capital. If you want to talk about stats, in fact, especially people like Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, because he always say the WHO, World Health Organization, WHO says that we shouldn't do ABC. Who says that we should do ABC? So now, who says factually, statistically, the kids are resilient to the virus? If you want to talk about stats and not emotion, because I'm a parent myself. So it says kids get the coronavirus, the immune system is able to fight the virus. The only problem it's going to be the grandparents of those kids. If they're over 60 years, how are they then going to take measures in order to protect them? But also that you have to put your stats out. Stats SA, tell us how many kids are staying with their grandparents, their grandma and their grandfather. Okay, can you be able to identify the number of parents and the percentages of it, the grandparents, the number of the percentage, and then be able to deal with that? And then those whom their parents are less than 60 years, what's the number? Is it over 95%? And then we could take kids back to school? Stats and facts that you said you want to talk about, if we want to put emotions aside. But I bet this will not happen. We're going to be having this wrangling. And by the way, the same doctors and the experts are saying that we're going to be having coronavirus for the next 18 months. So what are you going to be doing? What are we going to be doing? So it's just one of those issues that we are grappling with. And sure enough, as I spoke yesterday about the president ducking and diving and dodging to meet with the press, have a whole number of press, 2 hours, sit in front of the press, get asked questions, counter questions about this pandemic that we're having. No, the president, as I'm speaking right now, probably he's having one of those imbizo, Hopefully, it's not going to be the government communication DJ for that community radio station who's getting questions from other community radio station and remotely answering questions. Remember, he said it's not going to be in Parliament because he's the chair of the African Union, and so as a result, he needs to just obviously be close to his devices so that he can speak to other state leaders of this continent. You know, that's what he said. So we'll see, you know, but once in a while you see him visiting your school, so forth. But so we'll just see. Nonetheless, my name is Mamuji, and thank you for watching the Mamuji Show. I'm out.